Hello, my brothers and sisters. My name is Lola Truitt, and today's been really hard. You know, seeing how another one of our brothers here in the United States was murdered by law enforcement. Mr. George Floyd, was murdered by Minnesota law enforcement. As you saw in the video, the officer had his knee on his neck. Now they say all of this here, if you have your knee there, that will stop your heart, everything will shut down. The officer knew what he was doing and he was getting off on it. This is the disregard of African lives that we've been talking about for the last 120 years in America. And this is why it's so imperative that we unite and come together to put an end to this. Then we had Breonna Taylor, beautiful African queen, dead. She was also murdered by law enforcement, shot in her home 22 times by law enforcement. They did a botched search with a no-knock warrant, shot at her and her boyfriend, killing her. It's just so much that we endure as African Americans living in the United States. This is why I'm urging brothers and sisters to start having a Back to Africa plan, because we need to start having the connections where we're getting to know one another, we're talking to one another, and we're utilizing the information that our brothers and sisters in the motherland have. We need one another. If we do not unite now, we're going to be wiped out. And I'm sorry I'm crying. It's like really hard for me to even understand the hatred, to really understand like it keeps happening. We just got over the death of Ahmaud Arbery, another brother who just was in a neighborhood jogging, was killed by two white evil men. It's just overwhelming how this continues to happen, and we have to do something. So this is why I'm telling all my brothers and sisters who are living within a motherland, we African Americans love you. We want to get to know you. We want to come and strategize on how to get our resources back, so that way we no longer have to be considered the permanent underclass. It's time to change that. This is just becoming too much. I cannot die and leave my children in a world where white supremacy is still going on, still going strong. We have to destroy every arm of white supremacy. You know, Daniel wanted me to speak on this, and it took me a few days to gather myself because I've been crying, you know, for a few days because of this. And just to hear his white fiance say that they need to forgive law enforcement. Forgiveness is like a small infraction. When you just make a small mistake, yeah, forgive. But he intentionally killed him. So that means she truly didn't really love him. And that's something that really stuck with me. She said, I think we just should forgive law enforcement. How can you forgive someone when they murdered? Thank you, honey. When they murdered your fiance, they were a year away from being married, and you're talking about forgiving and moving on already? So that situation kind of, really bothered me. It's just a lot living here in the United States. I know the world will have you thinking that if you get here to America, everything's going to be given to you on a silver platter. That is not the case. America is still the most racist place on the face of the earth, next to Britain and Sweden and Belgium, Germany. America is not all what everyone thinks it is. That's why it's important for us to unite and create our own nation for our own people, where we are treated as living human beings with dignity and respect. It's time. So I'm not going to keep everybody up. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to say this before I log off. United, we can destroy our enemies. Divided, we will be wiped out. We need to either unite or die trying. Power to the people. Africa will rise again, and her children must start to talk. I love you from the deepest part of my heart. Good night.